Tonight, state-of-the-art renal care. Foundation stone laid for Asia's largest hospital for kidney treatment. Energizing the South. Cabinet gives green light for a 400 megawatt gas power plant in Hambantota. Joining hands or letting go. SLFP and the joint opposition continues discussion on contesting mini polls. Get in line. Sports Minister warns the cricket board to follow rules or face consequences. And in international headlines, stay out. Australia warns China on interference in national policy. China hits back. Good evening to all our viewers across Sri Lanka and around the world. I'm Mahesh Johnny and this is First at 9. Let's begin tonight on another first for Sri Lanka. The construction of Asia's largest kidney hospital commenced under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena in Polonnaruwa today. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony, the president said that he intended never to let a health minister undergo the same unpleasant experience which he did while in the post.
The foundation stone was laid under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Sri Lanka Yi Shan Liang, and Minister of Health Dr. Rajita Senaratne. The state-of-the-art facility, which is to be constructed at a cost of 12 billion rupees, was gifted to Sri Lanka following a request made by the President. Equipped with 200 beds and 100 dialysis beds, facilities of the hospital will range from kidney transplant surgeries to intensive care units, which will be equipped with state-of-the-art facilities.
In my experience as a Minister of Health for 5 years, I was unable to address shortcomings I witnessed in the health sector. I worked under a lot of stress. The then Secretary to the Ministry and the Director General did not support me. They did not listen to me and worked according to instructions of others at the Ministry. When I became President, I made it a goal to not allow the Health Minister of this country to undergo the same pressure, emotional conflict, challenges and problems I went through and give him the necessary support he needs to develop this health sector. No one has ever thought of building a hospital like this, and it has never been done before. When the current president was the Minister of Health under the previous regime, I highlighted the need for such a facility when kidney disease was on the rise. But the former government did not understand as to what steps should be taken.
Meanwhile, a program to direct the youth in Polonnaruwa district towards foreign employment in South Korea was also worked off under the auspices of the president.
ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශයෙන් යුද්ධයෙන් පස්සේ වුණත් කමක් නැහැ යුද්ධයෙන් පස්සේ හරි අපි ඉවත් කරන්න වෙනත් රටවල තියෙන පොලිසියට වෙනම පරිපාලනයක් අමාත්‍යාංශයක් ඒකට අහුම්කම් දුන්නු ඒක ගැන සැලසුමක් ඉදිරිපත් කරපු පසු වෙන හැම කටයුත්තක් තුලදීම අපිට මහමෙරක් වගේ කටයුතු කරන්නේ ඒත් අපේ අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා.
The Cabinet of Ministers have approved the proposal by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to establish a 400 megawatt natural gas power plant in Hambantota to provide electricity for the industrial zone that is to be established in the district. It will be implemented under the partnership of Ceylon Electricity Board and China Machinery Engineering Corporation, a company that has been approved by the government of China. Meanwhile, questions were raised at the Cabinet media briefing today regarding the controversial issue of 400 employees of the Hambantota port losing their jobs.
With the purpose of developing the Hambantota port, the public-private partnership agreement between Sri Lanka Ports Authority, Sri Lanka government and Chinese companies was signed on the 27th of July this year. Accordingly, the two companies will commence their operations on the 9th of December. 85% of the share capital of one company will be owned by the same company and 15% of its share capital will go to the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. The other company will own 58% of their share capital while 42% of their share capital will be owned by the Ports Authority. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal by Minister of Ports and Shipping Mahinda Samarasinghe to sign the share ownership agreement, which has been compiled as a supplementary agreement to the original among the relevant parties.
හාරසියකගේ රැකියා ප්‍රශ්නයක් මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මේ කම්කරු අමාත්‍යාංශයයි වරාය අමාත්‍යාංශය අතර යම් ගැටුමක් තියෙන ආකාරයක් පේනවා මොකක්ද කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලය මේ ගැන සාකච්ඡා කළේ නැද්ද?
The port's chairman spoke to me a short while ago and he told me that they are ready to pay 5.5 months' worth of salaries to all those employees. They will also pay 3 times the normal amount of compensation for them. Not only that, the new companies are ready to employ these employees. So what more can we do here? We are sorry to say that they are only acting on behalf of people who are politically motivated. We only ask them to accept these proposals from our side and work in a manner that would develop the port.
Let's take you to the Parliament now. During the parliamentary debate on expenses of local government and provincial councils today, an exchange erupted over the petition which was filed challenging the delimitation gazette.
Regarding the promise you gave to divide the Saintha Marudhu Pradesha Sabha, it was all of you who created a story that wasn't even there. As the local government minister, you made this promise on the 21st of October in 2016. Discussions are underway to provide a long-term solution for this problem. I give you my promise today that there will be a fair solution to both Tamils and Muslims in the area.
Right.
You had a plan to postpone the election. It was quite clear when the petition against the local government election was withdrawn that you were a part of it. Your actions brought shame on yourself as well as the president and those who are with him.
He can have a view that the gazette is incorrect until and otherwise a court pronounces that there is a wrongdoing on my part.
That's very clear.
He cannot take up the position that the gazette is wrong.
The case has submitted by your advice. It has withdrawn by your advice. That is the problem.
Just listen to what I say, Minister. He was in the same government too and ruined former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. And he's doing the same thing to President Maithripala Sirisena. So just listen.
More on the election. TULF and the EPRLF parties, which broke away from the Tamil National Alliance, have decided to contest the local government elections as a separate front. The new alliance is named as a Tamil United Liberation Front. In 2001, the Tamil National Alliance was formed with the affiliation of EPRLF, TELO, TULF, Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi and All Island Tamil Congress. However, after a few years, TULF left the TNA. EPRLF also left the TNA recently, charging that the policies of the Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi are unacceptable. According to the latest developments, both breakaway parties have united and have formed a new alliance with the intention of contesting the upcoming local government elections under the symbol of the sun. Sources also say that the All Island Tamil Congress will join the new alliance.
The TULF, led by Viananda Sangri, our party, EPRLF, and several other small parties have signed an MOU to contest the local government elections together. Several rehabilitated LTT members have also joined with us. We expect to represent ourselves for a better future of the Tamil community and their rights.
Meanwhile, one of the founding members of the TNA, TELO, is also due to take a decision whether they stay with the TNA or not.
We are pushed to a point where we cannot contest together with ITAC. We regret the current situation. We will discuss with the alliance on how to select candidates for the elections.
Meanwhile, TNA's party ITAC placed bonds for the election for the Chawakacheri Urban Council at the election office in Jaffna. Director General of the Department of Meteorology, S. Premala, says that the cyclonic system located 850 kilometers away from Sri Lanka will further develop into a deep depression in the next 24 hours. The Met Department continues to warn the naval community to be vigilant.
However, we can expect strong wind about 90 to 80 to 100 km per hour over the around the center of the depression, just beyond 300 kilometers from the eastern coast of Sri Lanka. And the other areas probably wind will be 50 to 60, and around the island wind will be 30 to 40 km per hour. Local areas which are in the southwest Bay of Bengal has developed into a depression, and it will further develop into a deep depression by next 45 hours. So when we talk about wind situation around the center of depression, the wind will be about 80 to 100 km per hour.
Fishermen were reluctant to set out to sea along the eastern coastal belt today as well.
The Court of Appeal today extended its previous stay order preventing the Financial Crimes Division from taking action against former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa under the Public Properties Act until the 15th of December. Justice L.T.B. Dehideniya and Shiran Gunaratne extended the order, which they initially issued on the 29th of November.
Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa filed a writ petition in Court of Appeal seeking an interim order preventing the police from arresting him. It was initially taken up on the 29th of last month. The petition submitted by the legal representatives of former Defence Secretary was tabled today, and the state legal representative stated that several clauses in the petition require further investigation as they suspect some information is not correct. Lawyers who represented Gotabaya Rajapaksa stated that the FCID had lodged a case against their client for misappropriation of public funds when constructing the D.A. Rajapaksa Museum under the Public Properties Act. Accordingly, the Court of Appeal decided to extend the stay order until sufficient inquiries have been conducted into the stay order. The petition will be taken up on the 15th of December.
The possibility of the joint opposition and the SLFP coming together to contest the local government elections has been the focal point in the political arena for some time. With various comments coming from the two camps, a special meeting was convened between former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and parliamentarians representing the joint opposition this evening at his official residence. Meanwhile, General Secretary of the UPFA, Minister Mahinda Amaravira, says that his party will be submitting nominations for the local government election next week.
A special discussion was held at the residence of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa in Vijayarama last evening.
අපි වෙනම ඉල්ලනවා ඒ ගැන ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. රෝදේ නෙමෙයිනේ අපි ඉල්ලන්නේ ඒකබද්ධ විපක්ෂයේ. ඉතින් ඒකට අපි ගියාට ඒකබද්ධ විපක්ෂයේ වැඩ කටයුතු වලට කිසි බාධාවක් ඇති වෙලත් නැහැ ඇති වෙන්නෙත් නැහැ.
ආණ්ඩුවට හේතු වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් මොකාට උනත් බයිනවා. දීරකුමාර ජයසේනානායක මහත්තයා කියේ නැහනේ. යන්න යනවා. ඉතින් ළමයා හම්බෙලා නැහනේ හම්බුනාට පස්සේ අහන්න.
Meanwhile, another meeting is underway between former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and parliamentarians of the joint opposition. We asked the SLFP to sever ties with the UMP and join us. They didn't respond well to that proposal and discussions are still underway. Chairman of the Youth Front of the SLFP, Shanta Bandara, says, however, that the opposition is failing at the moment.
We will have a special campaign to win the election where we will be contesting from the UPFA or the SLFP in each district.
Negotiations between the SLFP and the joint opposition was also raised at the cabinet media briefing today.
As the SLFP, we made a decision at the Central Working Committee meeting yesterday that no member of the SLFP should work towards the victory of another party member other than their own. What they should have done was leave the SLFP to establish the party of the flower bud, just like how I did at the time. Two people are responsible for this dispute between the two parties. Mahinda Rajapaksa or Basil Rajapaksa is not responsible here. It's those who want to have power in the near future.
Meanwhile, General Secretary of the UPFA, Minister Mahinda Amaravira, also expressed views on the subject.
We tried our best to have a successful conclusion to the discussions, and they didn't respond well, so we are going to submit our nominations next week.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa also weighed in on the topic.
ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂය මම ඒක දන්නේ මට ලැබුණේ ආරාධනාවක්.
Let's now take a look at other stories making news across Sri Lanka.
Unemployed graduates in the southern province organised a protest march today, and later the protesters forcibly entered the Dakshinapaya, which is the office complex of the provincial ministries. Later, they were given an opportunity to hold discussions with the provincial education minister on their plight. A container carrier with liquid petroleum gas cylinders met with an accident at the 113th kilometre post of the Southern Expressway. Traffic was obstructed between Kokmadua and Imaduwa. A villager died following a wild elephant attack in the Kalapukattu area in Pothuwil last evening. Locals urged the wildlife authorities to chase the elephant back into the forest. During the subsequent operation put together by the area residents, wildlife officials together with the police special task force, the elephant damaged several properties in the area. Association of Differently Abled Persons organisations organised an awareness walk today. They requested solutions from the government to the unaddressed issues. The awareness walk commenced from the Ibangwala Junction in Colombo and made its way to the Vihara Mahadevi Park.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Derana 24/7.
On to business news now. Derana today handed over the Sri Lankan of the Year 2017 Global Businessman Award to Chairman of Mars Holdings Mahesh Amleen at his office. Derana Sri Lankan of the Year, felicitating outstanding Sri Lankans who have made a remarkable contribution to the national economy and society, was held for the second consecutive year recently. Chairman of Mars Holdings Mahesh Amleen, who was recognized for the enormous contribution made in taking a local venture to the global stage, making noteworthy contributions to the island's economy, receiving the award today upon returning to Sri Lanka. The Sri Lanka-Singapore Business Council of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce concluded a business mission to Singapore recently, which saw the participation of a 26-member delegation led by Vice President of the Council, Rohit Mendes. The event was attended by close to 100 representatives from over 70 Singaporean companies in various sectors, including hospitality, food and beverages, information technology, as well as construction. They expressed interest in exploring business opportunities in Sri Lanka in the backdrop of the impending free trade agreement between the two countries. Thereby, Vice President of the Sri Lanka-Singapore Business Council, Rohit Mendes, extended an invitation to potential Singaporean investors to Sri Lanka in order to seek available ventures for doing business, considering Sri Lanka's rapidly developing status as a regional hub for business. Prosperity measured by the Sri Lanka Prosperity Index improved to 0.746 in 2016 from 0.685 in the previous year. The central bank says that the movement of the sub-indices of the index for the period of 2015 to 2016 of the economy and business climate improved across 6 provinces except for the central, northern and southern provinces. The improvement was mainly due to low unemployment, increase in informal sector employment, high standards recorded in informal sector wages, industrial density and banking density. Meanwhile, the central bank says there is a moderation in socio-economic infrastructure sub-index due to the improvements in the availability of electricity, transport and ICT facilities. However, the socio-economic infrastructure sub-index of the Sabaragamuwa province has declined substantially in 2016, predominantly due to moderate levels of performance in pipe-borne water quality and female participation in civic activities compared to 2015. Also in business news, Sri Lanka and the United States entered into an agreement to amend the 2002 Open Skies deal in order to expand rights for U.S. carriers to include key Seventh Freedom rights for all cargo operations. This could allow U.S. cargo on express carriers to operate from the island. The U.S. Embassy statement said the amendment strengthens global express delivery cargo networks, enhances bilateral connectivity and competitiveness, and facilitates economic growth and job creation. The signing took place during the 10th International Civil Aviation Organization Air Service Negotiations event underway in Colombo. Since 1992, the United States has pursued an open skies policy designed to eliminate government involvement in airline decision-making about routes, capacity and pricing in international markets. Let's take you to the stock market now. Sri Lankan shares extended falls into a third session today and closed at their lowest in nearly 3 months, dragged down by healthcare and diversified conglomerates. The all-share price index ended 0.15% down at 6,380.91, its lowest close since 13th of September. It fell 0.03% last week, recording its fourth straight week drop, but has gained about 2.5% so far this year. We now have Hansini Badage from First Capital Holdings with more details on the market performance.
All-share price index was on a downward trend during the day with some volatility, losing 10 points to close at a weighted average of 6,381. Both turnover and volume increased. Price depreciation in 87 counters led by RCD and JKH weighted heavily on the index, negating the effect of 30 positive contributors led by Serinco and HPL. High foreign participation of 77% led to a net foreign outflow from the market, amounting to 152 million rupees.
Let's move on to international news now. China has hit back at Australia's latest move to crack down on external interferences in domestic politics while citing concerns over China. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman said in Beijing yesterday that Australia should remove its bias towards China.
Australian Premier Malcolm Turnbull recently said that foreign powers were making unprecedented and increasingly sophisticated attempts to influence the political process in Australia and the world. He also cited disturbing reports about Chinese influence. China yesterday responded, saying that it has no intention of interfering with Australia's internal affairs or using political funding to influence them. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zheng Chuang added that China consistently develops friendly relations with all countries on the foundation of mutual respect and non-interference in each other's internal affairs, including Australia.
US President Donald Trump is set to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital and set in motion the relocation of the US Embassy to the ancient city. The confirmation of the decision was given by senior US officials, which threatens to upend decades of US policy and risk fueling violence in the Middle East.
US officials say that despite facing an outcry of opposition from Arab capitals, Trump, in a landmark speech, will announce he has ordered the State Department to begin developing a plan to move the embassy from Tel Aviv in what is expected to be a process that takes 3 to 4 years. Trump's endorsement of Israel's claim to all of Jerusalem as its capital would reverse long-standing US policy that the city's status must be decided in negotiations with the Palestinians who want East Jerusalem as the capital of their future state. Trump's decision could also upset the peace effort led by his son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner in pursuit of what the US president has called the ultimate deal. It is also reported that Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and Defense Secretary Jim Mattis opposed the move from Tel Aviv. Meanwhile, Turkish Prime Minister Binali Yildirim sounded a warning over the US embassy relocation to Jerusalem, saying Jerusalem is a very controversial area in the Middle East and that President Trump should reconsider such comments.
You are watching Sri Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
On to sports now. Minister of Sports Dayasiri Jayasekara was in a defiant mood today as he was addressing various issues raised by journalists on cricket. Speaking at the cabinet media briefing, the minister insisted the cricket governing body should be freed from the grasp of cricket clubs. The minister also said that he would not hesitate in dissolving the SLC if it cannot be achieved.
ලෝකයේ යටතේ ඔබතුමාට බලය තියෙනවා ක්‍රිකට් පාලක මණ්ඩලය ඩිසෝල්ව් කරන්න. තවදුරටත් මේ පාලක මණ්ඩලය තියාගෙන ඉන්නවද එහෙම නැත්නම් ඩිසෝල්ව් කරන්නේ නොකරන්නේ ඇයි කියන එක තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ.
ක්‍රිකට් වලට අතුරු පාලක මණ්ඩලය අවුරුදු 8ක් තිබුණා.
There was an interim committee for 8 years and there was a considerable collapse in cricket underneath. It is clear that all of them are under the influence of sports clubs. If cricket is collapsing, I am not prepared to listen to club captains. We will be able to reduce the number of votes to about 75 from the excess of 140. It is because of these votes that the SLC is cornered by the clubs and that should be changed. Irrespective of the incumbent president of the SLC, if I'm unable to achieve it, I will dissolve the SLC and there is nothing else to be done.
ක්‍රිකට් පාලක මණ්ඩලය විසිරු හරිනවා. අනිවාර්යයෙන් වෙන කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ.
ක්‍රීඩකයන් ගුවන් තොටුපළේදී අපහසුතාවයට ලක් වුණා. එතකොට ජාත්‍යන්තරව විශාල අපකීර්තියකට පවා ශ්‍රී ලංකාව ලක් වුණා. මේකට වක් කියනවා ක්‍රිකට් පරිපාලනය.
ලංකාවෙන් පිටත යන ඕනම ක්‍රීඩකයෙක්.
Any sportsperson travelling outside the country should obtain permission from the Minister of Sports within 21 days. Once we approve, visa could be applied for. These bodies, however, think that they're powerful and they do it by themselves. After which, we are informed. Opinion of Nick Potters as well as Hathuru Singh was sought since he is the incoming coach. I received the relevant file after 5 p.m. on Friday. They had gone to the airport at 6. I will not allow anyone to travel breaking regulations. Even Tilanga Sumathipala doesn't know of this. If the cricket administration isn't functioning well when we are losing, a decision has to be taken and I will look into it.
තීන්දුවක් ගන්න වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මම කිව්වේ දැඩි ලෙස මම ඒක ගැන හොයලා බලනවා.
දෙපාරක් කැඳවීමේ පාඩුව කවුද කියන නමතුමා දැන්
ඒ පාඩුවේ අදාළ නිලධාරියා දරන්න ඕනේ.
The relevant official should personally bear it and not the SLC. I have also asked to be informed of actions which could be taken against him.
අමතරව ඌට ගන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රියාමාර්ග පිළිබඳව මට දැනුම් දෙන්න කියලා කියලා තියෙනවා.
ඔබතුමා ඊයේ තේරීම් කමිටුවත් සමග සාකච්ඡා පැවැත්වුවද මේ තේරීම් වෙනස් කරන්න ඔබතුමා සම්බන්ධ වුණාද ඊයේ?
නෑ කිසිම සම්බන්ධයක් උනේ නෑ.
No, I've said not to select players if they fail the fitness test or if their discipline is not up to scratch. The constitution of the SLC deems the captain to be one of the selectors. At times, they choose the team they want, and that's why we see some players we expect to see in the team overlooked. Some captains have just selected their friends, but the responsibility comes to the cricket board. The captain should take the responsibility for it.
හැබැයි වක්කීම ඉන්නේ ක්‍රිකට් පාලක මණ්ඩලයේ. කැප්ටන් මේකේ වක්කීම ගන්න.
You are watching Sri Lanka's trusted news brand, Other Derana 24/7.
The controversial third test between visiting Sri Lanka and India in Delhi ended in a draw, with India winning the 3-match series 1-0. Making headlines for all the wrong reasons, the match ended with Sri Lanka seeing out the day in style with a score on 299 for the loss of 5 wickets, 111 runs short of the winning target.
Interruptions to play due to air pollution, players wearing safety masks and at times vomiting on the field are the reasons this match will be well remembered for. Prominent former Indian cricketers turned pundits such as Virender Sehwag criticised Sri Lankan players wearing masks as a premeditated ploy to unsettle India. The likes of Shikhar Dhawan, however, conceded that the visitors' struggles with air pollution in Delhi may in fact be legitimate. Sri Lanka started the day on 31 for 3 and they did well to see out the day in style. Dhananjay De Silva scored his third test century today with his knock of 119 before he retired hurt. Debutant Roshan Silva played a composed knock of an unbeaten 74, with Niroshan Dikwala keeping him company on 44. Sri Lanka only lost 2 wickets during the day and were 299 for the loss of 5 wickets at stumps, 111 runs behind the victory target. Indian captain Virat Kohli was adjudged the man of the match as well as man of the series.
So I think Sri Lanka view positives, but this is a happy picture for India. Yet another series win, 9 series wins in a row now for India.
England's hopes of retaining the Ashes suffered a terrible blow with their defeat in the second test in Adelaide today, sending the hosts 2-0 up in the series. The English batting lineup was skittled over for 233 by the Australian bowlers, inflicting the visitors a 129-run loss.
At stumps last evening, the match was well poised with England captain Joe Root unbeaten on 67, with Chris Woakes keeping him company. Any lofty hopes they may have harboured were quickly dashed as Josh Hazlewood removed both of them within a span of 1 run of the start of today's play, leaving England on 177 for 6. From then on, the proceedings was something of a formality, with speedster Mitchell Starc delivering thunderbolts to remove the English tail. Before long, England were all out for 233, falling to a 120-run defeat, their second in as many matches. Shaun Marsh was rightly named the man of the match for his brilliant unbeaten 126 in Australia's first innings.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
A very good evening and welcome to Forecast First. Now you can expect temperatures to vary between 19 and 28 degrees Celsius over the course of the day. Now also we can expect a development of a low pressure zone in the central region of the island in the morning and then gradually moving towards the east of the island in the evening time. This could bring about some heavy thunder showers in Trincomalee area and some showers in the northern region of the island. Moving downwards, we can also expect some thunder showers in the central hills of Kandy as well as in the Galle area. Now, the Invest 93W cyclonic system, which started off in the Eastern Bay of Bengal, is currently located northeast of Trincomalee, which is 850 kilometers away. This is moving towards a north-northwest direction of the island and is expected to gradually turn into a deep depression towards the evening time. Now, this could bring about some heavy thunder showers in the northern and eastern part of the island during the day. We will keep a close watch on this cyclonic system on Forecast First. Let's now take a look at your city by city forecast.
And that is a part of your world tonight right here on Other Derana 24/7. I'm Mahesh Johnny. First at 9, we'll return tomorrow at the same time. Be sure to join us there. When you have the time, make sure you connect with us on Facebook. For that, go to facebook.com/first@9 or on Twitter at twitter.com/first@9. Before we wrap things up for today, we are going to take you to the 60-acre Palavatugoda wetland park situated in the highly urbanized area near the Parliamentary Complex. It serves as a refuge to different animals and marshy plants, especially as a temporary home for several migratory bird species. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good night.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.